4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
The biggest names in music.
Oh, wow.
Big names, big songs, big guests, big prizes.
Well, it's a big show. Okay.
The Big Show.
Put your hands together for the one and only
Glenn, Angel, FD, and Sean.
That's what I'm talking about.
1FM 91.3. Good times, greatest hits.
1, 2, 3.
Good morning, Singapore, and welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. It's Glenn, Angel, FD, Sean, and this morning we have the best infectious disease doctor and specialist in the world, Dr. Asok Kurup. Good morning.
Thanks for lying, Glenn.
I had to do it, right? I just had to do it. And, for the OneFM fans tuned in right now, I know you guys have, questions. We'll try and read your questions out later, okay? But if you would like to submit your questions, you can actually WhatsApp us, 88550913, if you've got any questions for Dr. Kurup this morning. Anyway, welcome to the show, Dr. Asok Kurup. Thank you so much for joining us. We know you're a very busy man, but thank you so much for making time for us.
Yeah, you're welcome, Glenn.
Okay, let's start things off right now, go straight into it. There seems to be no end in sight as far as the COVID situation is concerned. Now, where do you see this going?
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating, but I think that we're gonna see our numbers go up a little bit more in terms of just the actual numbers that are crunching out. Maybe we will see several thousand, be it 4,000 or 5,000 or so, maybe a bit higher. But it's been playing out like this in different parts of the world already. So I guess it's going to come up to a certain high, and then it will start to come down in the next few, perhaps, weeks to months. I guess it's more likely to be months than weeks. But I think it's going to play out in that way. We're probably going to see more, high intense care resource utilization in the hospital setting by way of intensive care, by way of people requiring high flow or oxygen supplementation. So we're going to have to see, and we're going to have to try and calibrate whether or not this is kind of consistent with the measures that we are doing. And is this what we can do? Because, I'm taking it a step further. I don't know if this is on your mind as well, Glenn, but the fact is that people tend to compare our country with others. And, we say what this country is doing that. But, every country, it's different, it's unique. We are very highly, dense. We are very highly populated. So it's very difficult. We need to kind of know our own weak links. And whether we are going to have a problem, we have wet markets, we have got malls, we have got hawker centers, a lot of these potential weak links, nursing homes. So as long as we are not going to see a lot of people consuming high-intense healthcare resources, I think we are still all right. The eye on the ball is those are the numbers we should be looking out for, rather than just the overall thousands and thousands. I think that's okay.
Right.
Okay, when we come back, I'm going to ask about compulsory vaccination.
All right. But right now we continue with 1FM 91.3's greatest hits of all time countdown. Song 275 is by Vanessa Williams. Here's Colors of the Wind on 1FM 91.3. All right, back. Go ahead, everybody.
So, Doctor, if we have these weak links, the hawker centers, the coffee shops, the malls, the nursing homes, why is it that the government isn't going to make vaccination compulsory? Is it a human rights issue? What is it?
Yeah, this is something that I would share similar sentiments with you, because a lot of us also felt the same way, especially long before this as well. There are a couple of things. One of the problems, I think, from the government's perspective is that the endorsement or the approval of the vaccine that came under the Health Science Authority is under a provisional approval. Under such a provision, you cannot mandate the vaccine. So this is kind of like the semantics or the definitions of it. So that's one. The second thing is that I think it's to do with the tripartite guidelines that actually explicitly stated that for employment, you cannot discriminate based on vaccination. So I think that a broad vaccine mandate across various sectors in the community will require a heck of a lot of engagement, changes in many of these guidelines. And so I think that's kind of where it is with the government's perspective. But at least as of now, and when we were looking at it several months ago, the numbers of vaccinees were not as many as we have right now. But I think numbers are we close to 83% now? Or
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
so that's actually pretty much better than, whatever we were. So we are getting there.
So, speaking of malls and being vaccinated or unvaccinated, is the act of banning the unvaccinated from the malls and the hawker centers and dining, even at the coffee shops and stuff, really, really necessary? I will speak from a personal perspective because my parents are unvaccinated and they're close to 80. They're afraid of the side effects.
Oh,
I know. I've tried.
Oh, I beg, beseech, and implore your parents. I will grovel at their feet. Because I'm sorry, it may sound a little dramatic, but it is rather like a death wish, for the elderly to not get vaccinated, any kind of vaccine right now, because that's kind of where I think the issue is about banning people from malls and hawker centers, because if you're unvaccinated, you got to cocoon yourself. You have to, with the numbers of cases, and Delta variant is completely unforgiving. The viral load, the amount of the virus that is expressed in the mucosa and which can transmit by way of just normal speech or someone in the elevator talking loud. And this is, going to transmit, and the old individuals, they are like sitting ducks, So why would they want? It's not as if their rights are being held. They are being protected, So unfortunately, they chose that for themselves. So that's going to kind of eat into their freedom, but they have the freedom to choose as well.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have the freedom to protect them, and we can't want them to consume healthcare resources because elderly individuals. Are they very elderly? Because you look terribly young.
They're turning 80 next year.
Okay, so high risk. So really, we can't afford for individuals who are not vaccinated, especially elderly, because that's what we see. They will consume, healthcare resources. Oxygen supplementation would seem like a bonus. What we don't want them to get into is intensive care unit. I'm sorry for sounding so.
No. That's. You're entitled to that medical opinion of yours. Yeah.
The numbers of people who get vaccinated as opposed to people who are not, when you compare it in the statistics by way of requiring oxygen and or any kind of ICU, it's a 10-fold higher leap, for people who are unvaccinated or partially. So the numbers, and these are our local, statistics. So the statistics don't lie.
Yeah.
So
I think there are many families, who are in that situation right now where family members are somehow just afraid of the side effects, although they're looking around, all their friends, family members have been vaccinated, but somehow deep down inside they're thinking like, I might be the odd one to come down with really severe side effects. I'll be honest as well. My brother just got his first shot a couple of days ago.
Only because of the announcements, right?
I don't know. I think it's been playing on his mind for a while, but he's also been terrified, of the side effects, because sometimes, he reads the papers and some people, get heart inflammation and stuff like that. So it kind of like was playing on his mind. But I got a call from him the other day to say, look, I've decided to go for the vaccination, and the whole family is just, so happy because he was the last person, you see, and he is 47 years old. By the way.
Good for him. Awesome.
Yeah, and I called him yesterday. He said, "You know what? I'm so glad I went for it." I'm like, you see,
not feeling anything.
You could have gone down for it much earlier, but he says he's very, very happy that he's gone down for it. So I hope people who are afraid, like him and like maybe Angel's parents, will take that step.
Yeah. There's one thing is the mental fortitude, because it's played up by a lot of irresponsible messaging on social media. And various other media outlets, anti-vax campaigners, and so many of these things are trawling the net, and I think you're aware of that. So, when people have an agenda and they themselves are anti-vaxxers, they should not, put their ideas across to other people, because you're hijacking their health, Everyone should just look at how it has played out since the vaccines were introduced last December until now. It's not been a year, but look, we've engaged a lot of data, unlike any other vaccines in history, and we know how things are. It's not that bad. A lot of things are in the mind. So that's one thing, the mental fortitude. Just get over it, because the science is actually quite clear. It is a very safe vaccine.
Yeah.
And the more the positive message gets out there, the better. And the other thing is to weigh in the benefits over any kind of perceived risks. Because when you have so much of transmission going on, and the issue, of course, with the vaccine is that we can't really prevent transmission like how the measles vaccine can prevent transmission, which is why it is a compulsory vaccine, because it can prevent transmission. But here, for the vaccine, what it does is that it tells the soldiers in the body, your immune system, to kind of go to sleep and wake up when there is trouble. But when the enemy is at the gates and you tell the soldiers to wake up, it takes about 4 to 5 days, and the enemy is already at the gates at that time, because that's about the incubation period of Delta right now. So that's when people who are vaccinated end up getting a bit of respiratory symptoms and mild, or some things like this. And people think, oh, why am I getting vaccinated? People are falling sick anyway. But in reality, it doesn't play out into the more severe illness, because the immune system, once it's rejuvenated, or not rejuvenated, but woken up, shall we say, then, it prevents complications, which is what we really want. So we don't have a perfect vaccine out there, but at least we have one that can prevent, to a large extent, severity. So this is what people need to understand about the vaccine.
Right.
Doctor, having said that, having said that, the US, Europe, so many other countries are already opening up, knowing all these facts. They're opening up, and yet Singapore is still struggling. We're only just beginning to open up to certain countries. Is this because we're overcautious? Is this what we should be doing?
We are trying to open our borders, but unlike last time, several months ago, was it almost a year plus ago, we our numbers or our risk was coming from abroad. So now it's a different story. The epidemiology is not like that. The numbers, visitors bringing COVID to us is actually incredibly low. So we don't see a signal in that regard that, so I think we can try to open up more, and we have to be careful and quite measured in the way we are doing this. We also have a global organization that monitors for all these unusual strains and highly transmissible ones. And of course, from a global platform, we get insight and information whether or not we should be looking out for certain parts of the world. We don't want another strain to come in and waltz in, with lots of invitation, and then we have another problem after that. But we have to kind of look at all these things as we kind of measure up our sectors, our economy, our tourism sectors. And so I think it's okay. But suddenly they have reported quite a number of VTLs.
Yeah.
So that's important, I think. And also it kind of gets people to want to get vaccinated as well, to want to meet up for that. I think I saw reports in that regard.
Right. Now, Dr. Asok, if we are stressing on vaccination here in Singapore, now, starting next week, I think we're not allowing people to go into malls and all that. If we are stressing on vaccination, shouldn't we be barring the unvaccinated from entering our country as well?
I can't tell you the exact numbers who are unvaccinated, but I think that as the signal of people who are actually coming in from abroad, bringing in COVID, is actually markedly less than it was ever before. So that's number one. Number two, I do believe a large number of tourists, visitors, etc., they are actually vaccinated, because for their insurance policies, and they do need to get that kind of support to be able to come into the country, because if they were to get COVID or to get something, who is going to cover them, from a financial perspective? So I think it is actually in the interest of a lot of the individuals to get themselves vaccinated one way or the other.
Right. Okay. We're going to go back on the radio. Stand by. In 3, 2. Song 274 on the countdown. That's UB40 with Red Red Wine. You're tuned into The Big Show and The Big Show TV with Glenn, Angel, FD and Sean. And our special guest for this morning is infectious disease doctor and specialist Dr. Asok Kurup. All right. Once again, welcome, Dr. Asok.
Yeah, thank you.
So I've got a question for you, Doctor. With the booster shots currently already started, and the question would be, are you able to take a Pfizer shot if you did your first two as Moderna, or an mRNA shot if you did your first two as non-mRNA shots, and vice versa? I think a lot of people are asking this because the booster shots have started being offered to everyone. So what are your thoughts, or what is the factual facts on that?
Yeah, so thanks, Angel, for that question. So first, taking a step back, so the idea about boosting is actually based on the fact that the immunity post-vaccination starts to wane. And if it wanes, but, in a measurable, because the commercial tests that we do for antibodies, they are not kind of like licensed to be able to tell us, are you not protected? To be honest, we don't know the correlates of protection, and people cannot say that I would like a blood test to know whether I'm protected or not, because nobody knows what that level is. But it translates on studies to show that when people have a certain level of immunity that's waning among certain risk groups, then that's actually going to put them and make them vulnerable to infections, So that just vulnerable means that they get really sick. So, elderly and all this immunocompromised. So the data that has been published to date has mostly been with the mRNA platforms. So mRNA followed by mRNA, mostly in the context of Pfizer. Mm-hmm. So we also have data that's come out from other parts of the world with regards to AstraZeneca followed by Pfizer, and also Pfizer followed by AstraZeneca. So we don't have enough information with regards to other kinds of modalities, like, for example, mRNA followed by Sinovac or Sinopharm. I mean, intuitively, you would think that heterologous boosting, this is the name we give for this kind of mixing of platforms, would encourage the immune system to better itself. And I think it is something that we are looking into, because there are a lot of studies underway right now. So if we have the same talk a few months down the road, we might look at it differently. But based on the published science for now, I can tell you that AstraZeneca followed by Pfizer is looking really good. But we don't have AstraZeneca here. But mind you, Pfizer followed by AstraZeneca is not the same.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Dynamics is kind of interesting, right? So where we have published data would be mRNA, principally with Pfizer. The data of Moderna and then for J&J is also still coming. So intuitively, you can actually mix within the mRNA because the platform is the same. So based on the published science, you're just extrapolating a little bit. So it doesn't matter whether you choose Moderna. So if you want Moderna, Pfizer, Moderna, it really doesn't matter.
Okay. All right.
So here's a question, Doctor. I'm 65. I've already been given an SMS saying I should get my booster shot. When we come back, I want to explain why I haven't got it yet and get your reaction.
No, it's okay, FD. Ask the question right now.
Okay, so when I got my first SMS to get my booster shot, I was nowhere near the 6-month limit. And we've all heard you should get your booster shots between 6 to 9 months. So I've said, no, I'm waiting for my 6 months. And that should be early November. Correct thing to do or not? Because you said it begins to wane. So should I be getting that booster now, even though I haven't reached 6 months?
Yeah, you can, because, the 6 months is not etched in stone. It's not, So we do know that the waning of the immunity starts after about 4, 5, 6 months, and then it goes further down after that to 9 months. So people in the category of risk groups, okay, let's say people who have immune system compromised, multiple other medical problems, elderly, etc., the signal is becoming higher and higher for you as you go down the 4, 5, 6 months. So it's not like it has to be 6 months, and that is a defined limit. There's no, we're just putting it out there. And I think that even if it is a few weeks before, etc., it doesn't matter. So if you got reminders in that way, I don't know that you need so many reminders, but it's just kind of telling you that, hey, Mr. FD, your immunity is starting to wane. time to think about the vaccine, get yourself, that you can decide when you want it, but it's around now. That's what it's trying to tell you.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to say is we shouldn't be dogmatic about the 6-month timeline.
Okay, so we're getting a booster sometime between 4 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Is this going to be a way of life? Are we going to get boosters every 6 months? Is that what we're saying?
All right, hold that thought, Dr. Ashok. Hold that thought. FD, I only allowed you one question.
Darn, I thought I could squeeze
Don't
one
get
more
carried
in.
away. Up next, we continue with the 1FM 91.3 greatest hits of all time countdown. Song 272 is by Chris DeBerg, Lady in Red. All right, go ahead, Dr. Ashok.
I don't listen to that music. How come I can't hear it?
Because we're still talking to you now.
We're continuously live
Don't
on
listen to music,
Facebook,
talk to us.
So Dr. Ashok, we were saying that the waning starts somewhere around 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and this is why some people are getting their reminders to get their boosters earlier than 6 months, as I have done. Now, does this mean that I'm going to be taking boosters every 6 months?
So this is a good question because, to be honest, we don't know the science of this, and we of course we have the corollary of the influenza vaccine, where that is kind of like a every year thing. But we are hoping that it's not going to play out in this way, because we are using a different platform with mostly our people here using the mRNA based platform, because it also instigates a part of the immune system that we call the T cells. And this is kind of where there is that it's not a hidden part of your immune system, but it's something that it's not really we can't really measure it commercially. And that actually is something that's going to help you prevent serious illness, and probably it's going to take you further. So at the moment, based on the current science, I don't really think that you're going to have boosters every few months. I don't think so. Yeah.
I have a question, just going back a little bit to the unvaccinated. From the latest report, 85% have received at least their first dose, with 83% being double dosed already. So for the remaining average of about 15% of those that have not got their vaccination for whatever reason, it could be health, it could be they're anti-vaxxers, or it could be that they're just scared of the side effects. How many how many so far from the vaccinated have come down with serious side effects?
From the
vaccinated?
From the vaccine, very few.
Very few?
Very, very few. So I think I had the charts and I forget the actual number, but I can tell you with absolute conviction that it is incredibly low.
This is just for those that are unvaccinated who are afraid.
Yeah. Going back in time, I think around the January, February period, there were a lot of concerns as well about people who were having allergies to other compounds and, insect bites. And a lot of these were preclusions at that time, not because of any science in that regard. It was just a kiasu thing. And when we got the information locally as well as from abroad that it wasn't really a preclusion, of course, then this was actually disengaged from a contraindication. But, in the mindset of people, when it was, streamlined, social media, newspaper, everything that, hey, you got this kind of allergic reaction, don't get the vaccine, it's got into the subconsciousness of some people. And now when you try to tell them that it's safe, you're going to have to go up the hill with them because it's
go
not
through that.
I have personal experiences with many of these patients myself. And we've got to go through with them, step by step along the way, multiple emails, phone calls, face-to-face visits. And eventually when they get it and nothing happens to them, and they're so happy. It is this kind of a bit of a learning curve. Not everyone is ready to jump the boat. And, because humans, we are all made up of different stuff, right? Yeah. So not all of us are going to jump onto the bandwagon and say whatever. I mean, this is how humans are. We are different. So it's okay. And if you want to take that additional step with a bit of time, we can help you. That's the problem, because time. We have so much of, urgency about it. There's also this thing, we don't have the latitude of time that we used to have before.
Yeah. Dr. Ashok, I'm going to make you feel, a little shy again. But I'm going to say this once again. We have the world's best infectious disease doctor and specialist right now. I'm getting like text messages, going like, we are enjoying this session so much with Dr. Ashok. His explanation is so clear. So thank you very much once again for joining us.
Have you been compliant with your morning meds?
But I think I've got a very important question, okay? Why are people still super conscious and cautious about the mRNA vaccines?
There is the perception because the fact that the platform is new. And the newness of it is actually, it should be put in perspective because when the platform was studied, it was studied even before COVID. It was studied in the context of HIV and Ebola, and that is how we managed to springboard it because of the previous experiences. So it is not entirely new, and also in the way that all the vaccines were, approved for COVID-19 and the phases in which they were trying to develop them in a rapid way, safety was not compromised. It's just that things were accelerated by way of approvals in terms of phases. So people don't understand the nuances of these things and that they think it's been kind of, completely rushed and that safety was compromised, a new vaccine platform. And unfortunately, a lot of people who have their own agendas ride on this wave and make it into a big deal, a statement, political or otherwise. Look at how America is divided amongst the blue and the red. Am I got the colors right? Yeah, I think so. So, this is kind of how it is. It shouldn't be, science should be the one driving the show, not any kind of political things. So this mRNA thing should dissociate itself from this so-called, it's a rush vaccine, it's a new vaccine, we don't know enough. I mean, we know already quite a lot of things about it, even before COVID-19 came about. So I think we have to move past that, we have to get to where we are right now. That was my kind of fear at the beginning as well, because I was one of the later ones who got the vaccine because I was afraid because it was such a new drug. But going away from that topic, jumping onto the topic of masks, I think everybody's just about done with masks. Nobody that I've met likes wearing a mask. So when it comes to the topic of masks, first things, will we be wearing them for the rest of our lives? Secondly, from the mouth of an expert, what is the best kind of mask to wear? I sure hope that we are not going to have to wear masks forever and ever. Number one. Number two, in the near future, I do hope that outdoors we will be able to do without the mask, because a lot of the transmission dynamics of COVID-19 has played out in the context of indoors, especially when it's poorly ventilated. And so it's not quite a dichotomous transmission by way of droplets or airborne. It's actually, there is a lot of a gray zone. It really depends on the ventilation, how closed it is and how crowded it is. So many of these things, what people are doing, whether they're screaming, shouting, karaokeing, and I think that these dynamics play out in the context of risk of transmission. So in those kinds of situations, you should have your masks on. And you should have a good 3-ply mask. So a surgical mask or something equivalent to that should be what you should be doing in the context of an elevator in the hospital, for example, when you have to visit someone, and or in the maybe in some other places where it's a more closed area where you have a meeting, So, but if you are open outdoors, you're in the botanics and you're walking your dog or something, I think that's kind of where you can be a bit more. But of course, now we have mandates. But I do sure hope that in the future, we don't have to wear masks in that regard.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. But of course, outdoors can be different in different settings. It may be more closer. People are having fun at the beach and a lot of people are together. So that's going to be a bit more difficult trying to weigh in on no masks outdoors thing.
Okay. I think we'll end the interview with one question from our OneFM listeners. This is by Sui Mei Ki, who says, Hi, good morning, doctor. I have a question about the booster shot. My second jab was on the 3rd of May. Should I have the booster jab on or after the 2nd of November. I had the Pfizer vaccine in the past, but now the nearest vaccination center offers Moderna. Should I stick to Pfizer or go for Moderna? My body is okay with Pfizer, and I'm afraid that my body will react differently to Moderna. Is it true that a combination of vaccines is more effective against COVID-19? I'm sorry, there are 3 questions
Okay,
there.
we do on air. Stand by.
Hold on. No Doubt with Don't Speak, song 271 right here on 1FM 91.3's greatest hits of all-time countdown. We are with Dr. Asok Kurup, infectious disease doctor and specialist at Mount Elizabeth Medical Center. We're going to end the session with Dr. Kurup right now with a question from Sui Mei Ki. And there are like 3 questions in one, you know. But I'm going to read out her question anyway, okay? Good morning, Dr. Kurup. My question is about the booster shot. My second jab was on the 3rd of May. Should I have the booster jab on or after the 2nd of November? I also had the Pfizer vaccine in the past, but now the nearest vaccination center offers Moderna. Should I stick to Pfizer or go for Moderna?
So, good morning, Ms. Sui, and thank you for your question. We don't have to be totally so dogmatic about that 6-month thing. If you are in a risk category, so if you are above the age of 60, 65, and you have other kinds of medical conditions or immunocompromised states, or any other things that are debilitating you one way or the other, I would say don't hesitate, because we have a lot of transmission happening outside. And I'll say this again, Delta is unforgiving. So that's kind of where you can actually have the latitude of going a little bit earlier for your vaccine shot, and you don't have to be totally dogmatic about the November period that has been. So we are not looking after dates and a specific thing. This is all artificial, because the way the immunity plays out is very dynamic in your system. But if you're very, very healthy, you're quite young, and you don't have a lot of medical problems, you do have a lot of latitude to wait. You can wait a bit longer. So I think that's kind of different to where you belong in the context of risk factors. And whether you choose Moderna or whether you choose Pfizer, it really doesn't matter. If the nearest to you is Moderna, be aware also that Moderna sometimes can cause a little bit of local reactions. And some people are aware of this, some people are not. If, you might get a little bit more aches and pains, and bodily, aches is quite common. Fevers can come for 1 or 2 days. So that's not unusual. So don't get alarmed. That might be something that you might experience with Moderna. Now, intuitively speaking, it makes some sense to think about, a novelty. But remember, it's the same platform. It's also an mRNA. So we don't have data to tell you that, you take the Moderna, it's actually going to be superior to you. No, we don't have that. So you're free to choose, So you can go with the Moderna. It doesn't matter.
But I feel superior, Dr. Kurup. I'm Team Moderna.
Me too.
Team Pfizer.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Asok Kurup, for joining us this morning. It's been such a pleasure.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Doctor.
Therapeutic itself, being on radio. With my fan club, all of you.
We want to have you on the show more often. So,
Absolutely.
All right,
we'll be in touch once again. You take care of yourself and stay safe, Doctor.
Angel, please tell your parents.
Get shot.
Yeah.
Get Dr. Kurup to give your parents a call.
There you go.
Okay, you take care and have a wonderful day.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right. We've been speaking to Dr. Asok Kurup, infectious disease doctor and specialist. We are going to move on to our next 2 guests for this morning. I'm just going to introduce them very, very quickly, and then we're going to move on to our next song on 1FM 91.3's Greatest Hits of All Time Countdown. We welcome Ms. Koh Hwan Jing, Director of Community Enablement at Dementia Singapore, and also Ms. Si Yen Thing, Deputy Chief, Caregiving and Health Division. So once again, ladies, welcome to the show. Welcome to The Big Show. We'll talk to you more on The Big Show TV. But right now, here's song 270 on the countdown. It's Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. Good morning.
All right.
Thank you, ladies,
Good
for being
morning,
on
ladies.
the show. Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Okay, I'll just jump into straight into the first question. So we're going from vaccines to now dementia, and for dementia, you guys recently launched Dementia Hub.sg, which is a one-stop dementia resource portal in collaboration with AIC, which is Agency for Integrated Care. Can you tell us a little bit more about Dementia Hub.sg, please?
Yeah, so DementiaHub.sg is a one-stop resource portal for anyone that wants to know about dementia. We have designed it to be dementia inclusive by consulting persons with dementia as well as their caregivers, and created it such that different users, such as if you're a member of the community or if you're a person living with dementia or family carer or even a professional carer, can access information that's relevant to you.
Okay, great.
So, what was it like building this portal? I mean, you built it from scratch. It must have been quite a job just curating the resources you needed for this portal.
Yes, the work actually started almost 3 years ago when the management decided that there should be a one-stop portal for dementia knowledge sharing. We started the work about 2.5 years ago, whereby we were curating information from all different sources from all over the world. And we also looked internally, especially to the Agency for Integrated Care, that was also busy developing resources for people with dementia as well as their caregivers. So that was really quite a lot of work.
Wow.
So maybe adding on to what Huang Jing mentioned, because we know that the prevalence of dementia is indeed increasing. So 1 in 10 seniors above 60s have dementia, and in Singapore right now there's about 86,000 persons living with dementia and their caregivers, and this is the reason why AIC felt that it was very important to partner, a close partner like Dementia Singapore to co-develop this dementia hub. I think we have also been hearing feedback on the ground that where do I go? Because there are a lot of pockets and sources of information out there. So how can I go? Where do I know whether the information is credible and updated? And that's why how Dementia Hub Singapore actually was developed.
I'm actually on the website now, and I just have to say it is a very, very easy website to navigate because you've sort of divided it into 4 segments that somebody going in can immediately click on for based on their needs. So you have a member of community or corporation, persons living with dementia, persons caring for dementia, or healthcare professionals. So it's a nice, easy, and user-friendly website, which is fantastic. So congratulations on making it easy to use and easy to navigate.
Thank you.
So based on your experiences, what kind of resources do you think caregivers and family members need the most and are looking for the most?
I think based on our experience working with caregivers, what we found is really important at the start, at the point of diagnosis, for caregivers to know about the nature of dementia, knowing about, what are some expected signs and symptoms of dementia, what might be some behavior changes they might expect of the person, and through that learning about how to communicate with the person, how to understand behavior changes and apply strategies to support the person to continue living a good quality of life, engaging in meaningful activities.
Well, working with people with dementia, what were some of the misconceptions and some of the misinformation you came to know when you were building this site?
I think first of all, a lot of people will think that dementia is part and parcel of normal aging, which we know that's not the case. And a lot of people will think that when the only signs and symptom of dementia is when I lose my memory, right? And we know that different people, besides Alzheimer's disease, there are other forms of dementia, and they present with different signs and symptoms. And we have people who might not have memory loss, but they have challenges finding the right word to communicate, or they suddenly find that they things that they used to do, for example, cooking a meal for the family, whereby they need to plan the menu, go marketing and all those, becomes something very challenging to them. So I think these are some of the myths and the misperception that people have. And through this one-stop hub, we hope to be able to equip the community and to be able to be more aware of these signs and symptoms so that they can seek help early.
So obviously you've just launched Dementia Hub.sg. What do you envision it to become, and what kind of things will you be offering in the future?
We will continue to enhance the portal because there's just so much information that we want to share. We've only just been through phase 1. So you'll see enhancements to the resources related to understanding behavior changes, especially for care professionals. So we've done quite a lot for family carers. And the next step is really to beef up the resources for care professionals, especially for those working in daycare centers and nursing homes, to help care professionals understand, the different behaviors that present in their services and the strategies to support persons with dementia.
Okay.
We're also looking into. Go on.
Sorry. Maybe adding to Huang Jing's point is that we also recognize that there's other segment of people that we really want to outreach to. For example, we are beginning to see the general community to want to come forth, right, and offer a helping hand, but they don't know what to do. So I think this is also another key target audience that we wanted to reach out to, so that together we can build an inclusive environment for a person living with dementia and caregivers to continue really staying safely as well as enjoying the activities they used to do in the neighborhood they're familiar with. The second target is really businesses. I think Wang Jie and myself also have encounters with businesses who are coming forth because they recognize that increased prevalence, what can I do for my own customers who may have dementia or may have dementia in the future? So we have banks, transport operators who then say that I want to train my staff to be knowing how to communicate with persons living with dementia, so that when they come forth in my doorsteps, I know what to do. So I think these are all very encouraging signs.
Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to go back on the radio. So what we've done right now, is good for people who are watching us on the Big Show TV. When we go back on the radio, FD, Angel, we will stick to the 6 questions that we've prepared for both ladies. I will start off with question 1. You take question 2, Angel. FD takes question 3, and we will go that way. Okay, for one talk set. So once again, ladies, we might have to repeat a few of your answers, but this will be for our radio listeners right now. Okay, people who are not watching us on the Big Show TV. Okay, here we go. FD, get ready. Traffic.
In 3, 2.
OneFM 91.3 traffic.
Alrighty, let's take a look. You've got the usual delays across the expressways. Look out for the PIE towards Changi, please. A vehicle there has broken down after Jalan Bahar. Avoid lane 2. Woodlands Avenue 5 towards Avenue 12. Roadworks after Woodlands Avenue 6. The PIE towards Changi. An accident before Jalan Bahar. Avoid lanes 4 and 5 as well. Please stay within the speed limit. Have everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
Good morning, Singapore. Welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guests for this morning, Ms. Koh Huan Jing, Director of Community Enablement at Dementia Singapore, and also Ms. Si Yen Ting, Deputy Chief, Caregiving and Community Mental Health Division. Welcome once again, ladies, to the show.
Good morning.
All right. Now, this morning we want to talk a little bit more about Dementia Hub.sg. Now, Huan Jing, could you share with us about Dementia Hub.sg, and when was this project first initiated and why the need for it?
So Dementia Hub.sg is a one-stop resource portal for anyone that wants to know about dementia, and it's really tailored to people with different needs, including members of the community, persons living with dementia, caregivers, as well as care professionals. Yeah, so we started working on this really about 3 years ago, when the management decided that it was important to have a knowledge sharing portal so that people can have easier access to information about dementia. Then we were hearing that there were challenges navigating information on the ground and in the system. So we thought to start curating information from all over the world that was already available about dementia. And we also looked internally in Singapore to see what were some resources available. And then we knew that the Agency for Integrated Care had already been working on some very useful dementia resources.
Well, speaking of easy navigation, I mean, I think you've got that down really well because I was looking at the website and it's a very user-friendly website. So what do you hope to achieve from the portal dementiahub.sg?
We hope to provide users with easy access to information because everyone comes with different needs. Yeah, so if you are someone who's a member of the community, such as running a business, you would have a different need for information compared to a family carer versus a care professional. We hope that people will be able to pick up more knowledge and also skills on how to care for persons with dementia so that people with dementia can have a better quality of life.
What do you guys hope to achieve with this portal?
I think we have learned that definitely it takes many helping hands to be able to build an inclusive community for persons living with dementia and their caregivers to continue living in the neighborhood that they are familiar with and enjoying the activities that they used to. So I think that the portal aims to equip the general public as well as the community with information about what to look out for when they can encounter a neighbor who may have presenting certain symptoms and how to communicate. I think we've been hearing a lot of feedback that the general community are very willing to support, but they don't know how to. Secondly, I think like Wang Ti mentioned, businesses is another key area. We have businesses that's coming forth right now. We see a lot of interest to say that, how can I better support my customers, my existing clients who may have dementia and their caregivers, and also there's an upcoming increase in prevalence. How do I prepare for that? So we have banking industry, we have the transport operators and other retailers who has come on board to say, can I provide my staff with training so that my staff can then better provide support for this group? And we're very encouraged by it. I think the next step really is to look at are there any ways that businesses can offer more? For example, making changes to how they operate. And these are the second phase of development that we're looking at.
Thank you very much, Yen Ting. All right, up next on The Big Show, song 269 on 1FM 91.3's Greatest Hits of All Time Countdown. Here are the Pet Shop Boys, Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe with Opportunities on 1FM 91.3.
And we're back.
Right. Nice. Okay, we can wrap up. FD, any last questions?
I just want to know that, as we close this off, how much more are we going to expect from Dementia Hubs .sg in the future?
I think it's an evolving piece of work. At this point in time, based on our planning, you probably expect a 25% increase in the content in the next 1 to 2 years because there is a lot of information that we do want to share. We are also hoping to translate some of the material to other languages. So currently the website is catered to mostly the English, people who can read English. There are some material that is already translated to Chinese. But we hope to extend that to more languages so that it can be more accessible.
Yeah, I just want to also...
Another area that we are also looking at is the potential of videos, because I think sometimes a picture speaks 1,000 words. Through clips and videos, I think it brings out the message so much clearer.
Yeah, so videos are definitely the way to go. Yeah.
That's right.
And I just want to also say that all this takes money, okay, folks? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I mean, what we hope to achieve, I mean, here, especially with Dementia Singapore, is to make lives of people who have to live with dementia, both the patients as well as the families. We want to make it, better for them so that they can cope better because, it's not easy. We keep on saying that it's not easy and thanks to all these angels at Dementia Singapore, lives are improved as a result of that. So we just want to say that we are very proud to be working with Dementia Singapore. And, with One with Dementia, we would like you guys to donate. Please donate generously. onefm.sg/dementia. Thank you very much, ladies, for joining us today. Once again, we've been speaking to Ms. Koh Huan Jing and Ms. C. Yen Ting. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, coming up very, very soon, we have players from Lion City Sailors FC, Gabriel Quack and Haris Harun. Gabriel!
Hey guys, how are you?
How are you?
Good morning.
Looking good, Gabriel. And, we've been reading about you in the papers this morning. Last night was the award ceremony, yeah?
Yep.
Haris is joining us. Hello, Haris. Good morning.
Morning.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is so funny because the both of you were in the old OneFM studio.
Yes.
I remember a few years ago. I can't remember how many years ago, but both of you were there.
Definitely more than 5.
As well. Was it more than 5 years ago?
Yeah, because we were there.
Was it with Sundram? I think with Sundram, right? Or
Yeah, I think
it was.
Can't remember.
Yeah.
who it was.
I think you're right. Yeah, Sundram came in as well. My goodness, 5 years ago. You boys look the same, man. What's happening?
What's the
Can you
secret?
teach me your secrets, please?
Secrets
you guys
football.
look the same too.
Thank you very much.
Guys, you guys haven't met Angel, right? You guys have met the rest of us, but
Hi.
Angel
Good morning.
Hello, Angel.
I've got a
Hi.
special background for you.
Anyway, first and foremost, I mean, we right now, I mean, we are live as well. We are on the Big Show TV, but in a while we're going to go on the radio as well. But since we're all on right now, I would like to congratulate the both of you for your success. All right, with the Lion City Sailors. Congratulations on being
Well done,
Singapore
guys.
Premier
Thank
League
you.
champions 2021.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Brought it home.
Thank you.
For those of you who don't know, this means a lot because, since 2014, we've only had foreign champions.
Oh.
We've had Brunei, they won it twice. And then after that, it was Albirex Negata all the way. And this year, it was, right down to the wire, man. After Sunday's match, right?
Finally.
And you guys are declared Singapore Premier League champions.
Well done. Well done,
Yes, it's come home.
Yeah, and Gabriel won the goal of the season.
Yeah,
Ah.
that goal was
Thank you,
superb.
boys. Thank you, boys.
That goal was
thank you.
was superb. It was outstanding. Now I mean, the both of you are best of friends. You guys are of the same age. You guys started out with the same teams and all that. It's like, how wonderful is it being on the same team right now? Gabriel.
You want to go first, Harry? Oh, me. I think many people knows that both of us we grew up together. We are the 90s kids, and I think it feels great because we started our career together. I still remember at the old Christ Church outside the Jalan Besar Stadium, and we were still in our short pants back then, heading to school and back then. So I think it feels great and amazing to go on this journey together. 16 years, watching him having so much success over the causeway, and at the same time we win some titles together in Lions 12 and right now. So amazing to look back, and I think even now when we had some coffee at lunch together, we have a good laugh and we talk about the past. I think it feels great, to have a friend and a brother, man.
Oh.
How old
So
were you guys when you were in Lions 12, man?
12 years old.
We were no, Lions Show was 20.
Oh, sorry.
I think.
Yeah, Young Lions first, right?
Yeah, Young Lions first.
Yeah.
Young Lions, we were about 19. Okay.
He went. You went at 18. I remember. I went.
Yeah,
you went at 16. 16.
Yeah, I
17.
went at 16.
Yeah, I went at 18.
Like 19 or 18, yeah.
Yeah, I think FD and myself were involved in the Young Lions at that time. I wonder whether at that time were you guys sponsored by Courts?
Yeah. So we did some work with that. Yeah.
And then after, of course, it was Lions 12 and all that. Amazing. I mean, you've played abroad as well. I mean, Gabriel. I mean, we all know Haris went over to Johor,
30 seconds.
and then you played in Thailand.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, we're going to go on the radio. Okay, no, okay, stand by.
Okay.
Savage Garden with I Knew I Loved You, song 268 on 1FM 91.3's greatest hits of all time countdown. We are getting closer and closer to the greatest song of all time, which will be revealed on Friday morning at around 9 a.m. All right. But right now, our next two guests, boy, has it been a busy morning.
Yeah, boy.
But such a pleasure to end off today's group of guests with two young men. They are from the Lion City Sailors FC, newly crowned Singapore Premier League champions for 2021. They are Gabriel Kwak and Haris Haron. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning and congratulations, new
Well done, guys.
champions. I mean, round of applause first.
Thank you, Angel.
very much.
Thank you, Angel.
Tell us a little bit. I mean, we'll start with you, Gabriel. What's the experience been like just winning this?
Definitely feels fantastic and amazing. Of course, it's my first title locally in Singapore, and like what Glenn mentioned earlier, it's been so many years since a local team has won it. So you could see the build-up and the excitement leading to the game, and even midway through the season, you could feel it. The media, everyone was on it. Like, finally there was a chance of this foreign dominance ending. But I mean, credit to DPMM and Albirex. I think they have upped the standard, upped the ante of everyone in the league to make sure that we are constantly improving and have this competitiveness edge going along. So yeah, having said that, I think more about ourselves. I think credits to us and the team. We worked hard. We knew what we wanted. We were firm on our goal, and I think definitely Sunday achievement and success was so sweet because finally we crossed the finishing line. But it wasn't easy, I mean, throughout the season there were many. It was a roller coaster ride. We had the pain and agony of the Albirex game, notably, but ultimately somehow fate has its way. We had some favors from Tampines and all, and honestly Sunday itself wasn't easy. We lost Haris through injury. We considered the equalizer. Going to the halftime, we knew Albirex was 4-1 up, so nothing was safe until I think my goal in the fourth goal.
Amazing.
Yeah. Haris, how are you feeling right now? Are you okay?
Still sinking in, man. It's a special feeling, especially my first league title in Singapore or of any sorts, first title in Singapore as a professional player, and to come back into a team like the Lion City Sailors, I think it was special. A lot of the boys I knew from my time in the national team as well, and in youth football in my earlier part of my career, So it was easy to adapt back to the team, and I just wanted to contribute as much as I can, to help the team. So I'm just glad that he ended in the way that we wanted, with the title. Even though we had to go through a few scares, a few like Gabriel said, agony, in terms of the results and stuff. But like fate has it that it was meant for us. So really glad that we got that first title, and we have to try to build on this success now.
Yeah, on behalf of everyone who was at the Jalan Besar Stadium over the weekend, I'm sure they're all thanking you guys, because it was a great evening, especially for the fans of Lion City Sailors, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I love the way you put it, this first title.
Yeah,
I think that
first of many.
confidence is absolutely brilliant. That first title,
It's the start.
absolutely
It's
love
always a start. Yeah.
it is the start. Now you guys are both. You've played at home. You've played abroad. What makes playing for Lion City Sailors so different?
Go get
Gabriel.
Okay, because I think for myself and Haris now, we've been playing like 16 years of probably 10 years of professional football, and I think I've been with a couple of number of clubs now, like most notably the Young Lions, then Lions 12, Geylang Warriors, and my club in Thailand. So I think the main big difference between currently in LCS and the other clubs are that the other clubs, the target before the league and the start of the season is that, for example, in Geylang and Young Lions is more of a learning experience. Whereas my club in Thailand and Geylang, we are aiming for the AFC Cup top 3, and like the mid-table target. But I think in LCS the project is different. We want to win titles. We want to dominate. in the EPL context, I can take Manchester United, your favorite team, for example, Glenn. Like, you're expected to win year in, year out, as compared to, no disrespect, like Aston Villa and Leeds. They are aiming for a mid-table finish. So I think right now in LCS, we want to win everything, and I think we're at the right age where, I am at the right age to be challenging year in, year out the pressure of not winning, because not winning a game means like it's the end of the world. It's a different challenge for myself, and I'm happy to embrace it because I like this pressure, and I think it can elevate myself to a different level. Like for Haris, I believe at JDT he feels the same. They demand success, and every game lost it spells trouble. So it represents a different challenge for a club who is just trying to finish as high as possible. So yeah, I think that's the main difference.
Yeah. How important is it for the higher ups, the people, the managers and the people abroad to instill that winning mentality within the team? How important is that? Haris.
Yeah, I think it's important. Oh, okay, Haris, you go.
I think it has to be a culture. I think it has to be, like you mentioned, from top to bottom. Mentioning about our experience in overseas leagues. I was in Johor for 7 years, and it was crazy pressure. It was like, we were backed by, the owner was the Crown Prince, and he demands like a lot. Even a draw is a loss. And when I first went there, and I was like, what? We didn't lose the game. We still got a point out of it. But no, he didn't want to win. He didn't want to draw. He wanted to win every game. He wanted to win every title, and it kind of the players get caught in that mentality. Now I think after 8 years that he's taken over, I think that is the bare minimum to go in and win. Any game. So I think it's important as well. We have to try to build that culture here. It's going to take time. It's not going to be instant. It's going to take time. So that's why I mentioned first title just now. So we have to build on that. Definitely, we cannot take a step forward and 2 steps back. We have to build on that. Be positive. Be patient. These things will take time. And what is important is show the way for the younger ones, because they're the ones who are going to be showing the next generation, the generation after them. The way forward. So it has to be a consistent effort from everybody.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have set a great example for the future of football for Singapore. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And I think your Crown Prince, Forrest Lee, will probably put some pressure on you guys as well.
Definitely. We're looking forward to it.
I wanted to wear my Lion City Sailors shirt this morning, but I couldn't find it because I didn't want to switch on the light. I'll wake up the wife, you see.
It's like a dress.
Where's my shirt? But anyway, congratulations to the both of you once again. Gabriel and Haris, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Great stuff, guys. Well done.
Well done, guys.
Thank you.
All the best, yeah?
Thank you.
Okay, and congratulations once again, Gabriel, on winning the Best Goal of the Year award.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Angel, Sean, and our Flying Dutchman.
Don't worry. Best goal of the season again next season.
I
No
don't
pressure.
intend to win that.
And all the best as well, for the national team, because you guys play for Singapore as well.
Yes.
So all the best to you guys as well.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks
Have a
lot.
nice day. And
Take care.
stay
See you.
safe.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.
All right. Up next, we are going to go for a break in terms of headline news and sports, because Adrian Abraham is waiting for us to hand things
he's
over
waiting for quite a
to
while
him.
already.
And then we'll continue with 1FM 91.3's greatest hits of all time countdown.
It's big. Really.
Okay, we say bye to
All right.
What a
Wow.
morning.
Okay. That was great.
all tired.
All right. Now the
Tired? No lah. Do we look tired?
now the football boys have gone.
I've got to say, these are two of the better footballers we've had on the show now.
Such polite young men.
What do you mean?
Such polite,
Of course.
Yeah, so polite.
Oh, yeah, we've had some real
Hey!
Real
okay,
does?
okay.
Shall we sign off first?
Bye-bye.
These guys are really good.
All right, share
Let's
the
talk off
video.
air. Let's talk off air.
Love ya. Share the video.